Hey guys, I'm Candace Chantel, a rapid manifestation coach who helps you manifest faster, easier, and in the least amount of steps possible. If you're here, you know that manifesting isn't complicated, it's simple. So today I actually want to talk about how to live in the end, or how to act as if, right? Coaches, Neville, Goddard, if you're in law of assumption, people, even law of attraction, says you should act as if. Neville Goddard says live in the end, live from the end. And people always talk about this a lot, but we never give you, specific examples of how to do this or specific steps of how to do this. And it can seem really complicated. Like, how am I supposed to act like I have all this money if I'm flat broke right now? How am I supposed to act like I have this awesome relationship if I'm single and, not happy about my current state right now? So I'm going to tell you how. The first thing that you need to do, living in the end just simply means pretending in your mind like you already have the thing that you want. If you guys know me or have done coaching with me, I use all of the universal laws, right? I'm not a law of attraction hater. I use law of attraction, law of assumption, law of vibration. And essentially, if you are walking out every day acting as if you are already that person who has what you want, that will be reflected to you in your reality. That will be attracted back to you in your reality, right? So if you're currently walking around in the state of lack, in the state of not having, you are never going to get what you want. You're constantly going to be returning to yourself the state of not having and the state of lack. You see what I'm saying? So you have to use your imagination. You have to use your thoughts and your feelings to move yourself into the space where you are already the person who's enjoying that life, okay? And it can be easier said than done. So I'm gonna give you like some simple, easy ways to do that. So the first thing that you have to do is figure out exactly what it is that version of you who already has what you want, you have to figure out what it is that they do, what it is they would think, what it is that they would feel. You have to have like a target to shoot for. If you don't know how you're supposed to act and what you're supposed to do, then, you're just going to be walking around aimlessly, right? You have to have a target. So the first thing that you have to do is just sit down and think. And if you need to write it down, like I love writing. I'm like a scripter, a list maker. So if you need to write this down, write it down. But first, write down a few things. What would the version of me who had X amount of dollars, who had the job that I'm trying to get, who had the person that I want, write down, what would they do? What would they think? What would they feel? Okay. Once you have this list, you can kind of look at it and second, take an inventory of the things that you are doing now that are contradictory to those behaviors. You have to think about yourself and what you're doing that's expressing to the universe, that's sending out the vibration that you don't have what you want. For instance, if you already, I don't know, what's a money goal that people might have? If you make, I don't know, $500 to $1,000 per day, some people use that as a money goal. Would you, every time you had to spend money, would you constantly be checking your account, doing all these little calculations, saying to yourself, well, I really want this, but I can't afford that right now? You would not be doing that. When you went to spend money, you would just spend money freely, not worrying about, what you had, because you knew that A, you had enough, and B, it was going to come back to you tenfold, right? When you had bills come in, you wouldn't be frustrated like, oh, here's another bill notification. You just be like, oh, okay, let me add that to the list of things that I need to pay. Like on whatever day you pay them, like on payday, or just whatever day that you do your bills. Once you do those two things, you can start to see a difference in how you're behaving and the vibrations that you're sending out versus the vibrations that you would be sending out if you were already that person. Okay. So first step, figure out what it is that you need to be doing, that the person would be doing, that you would be doing if you already had what you want. Second, create a list of the behaviors that you're doing now. Start to identify the behaviors that you're doing now that do not match with that list, that conflict with that list, and then start to cross them out. Start to figure out how to redirect your thoughts and retrain your thoughts whenever you have that type of stuff going on. Now, people might say, okay, yeah, well, how am I supposed to know what I would do if I was already in that position? How am I supposed to know the certain behaviors that I need to take? Or even better, how can I even possibly take those behaviors? If I don't have money to spend, how am I going to just go out and spend it? Easy. Think in the future of you know, whatever it is that you want. If you had tons and tons of money, okay, would you be counting every single dollar? No. But would you be like just spending aimlessly and frivolously? Also, no. You would probably have a CPA. You would probably still have a budget to maintain all of that money. So even though you may not have it now, do those same things. Create a budget as if you have all of that money and decide how you are going to allocate it. Decide how you're going to allocate the money that you don't have yet. Give it a job. Give it something to do. And you will soon find that you will have the money coming in to do that job. You might say, well, I don't need a CPA. What am I going to, okay, research one so that when that money comes, you will be ready. You have to, again, you guys, if you are constantly living and moving from a state of lack or not having, you are constantly going to bring back in more circumstances in which you will not have, in which you will lack. So some things that you can do for money are to, like for instance, if you need a way to feel like you're spending freely, even though you have a limited amount of money to use, make sure you just have that limited amount of money like on a separate card, in your Apple Pay, in your Cash App or something, and spend from there. And when you spend, just say, okay, like boom, I know I can afford this. This is good. It's coming out, like I already planned for this. Boom, so that you feel good about it. When you get new bills, say, instead of saying, oh my gosh, here's another bill. Ugh, I don't know what I'm going to do with this. I'll deal with it later. Say, oh, okay, boom. You know what? I'm so glad you have to use gratitude. I'm so glad I got this bill because I have the means to pay for it. I'm so glad I can pay all of my bills. And then you move it to the side and figure out what to do with it later. You have got to stop sending out those negative vibes around what you want, because that's all you're going to attract back is more of those negative vibes. Now, those are some things that you can do with money, but then you might say, okay, well, what about relationships? What if I want a specific person? How am I supposed to act like I already have them, even though they're not here? And the key to that is thinking to yourself, how would you feel if you already had them? You would probably feel like great, lovey-dovey. You'd probably just be walking around a little lighter, you know, feeling excited about going and doing small things because you know you're doing it with them. You'd be excited to come home. You'd be excited to cook larger meals. I'm just giving you some examples here. And then once you have those things, ask yourself, how am I acting now? I'm stressed out. I'm always checking my phone. I'm stressed out. I'm always checking social media platforms to see if I've been contacted there. You know, on the weekends, I'm like, ugh, another weekend where I can't do anything. What behaviors are you doing that are sending out the vibes that you don't have what you want? You have got to start to recognize those and shift them into other behaviors. Start being excited. Start planning larger meals. Start planning the, you know, date ideas or things that you would do when you guys are together. Start, you know, imagining that you don't have to imagine with the specific person, but just start imagining yourself, you know, being happy, going out and doing couples things, buying couples shirts. Start acting as if you are this happy, confident person, and detach or stop thinking specifically about the SP. Stop specifically thinking about the person. And once you are able to start acting like this, and a lot of times you can do this by just, and it seems counterintuitive, but you can do this by just being happy to do things for yourself, to take care of yourself, okay? If you're going out, getting your nails done, getting a haircut, you know, doing your makeup one day and just being excited, like, you know what I mean? Feeling good about yourself, because that's how you would feel if you were already in the relationship with this person. You would be confident. You would be secure. You would not be nervous or fearful because you don't have what you want. And so when you get those thoughts, when you get those ideas coming up, you have got to immediately look back at your list of how you're supposed to act, what you're supposed to be doing, and redirect yourself. So this is how you live in the end. It's simply acting like you already have what you want and not being stressed out about the things that you don't have. So if you need more specific guidance with this, please use the links in the bio below. I could help you out with it. I'm a rapid manifestation coach. That's literally what I do. All right, guys, I'll see you next time in the next video.